afternoon, everybody. My name is Jared Coles, and we are Essential Eats. So I am currently a senior finance major, and I am the CEO and CFO of the company. And I'm in this role because of the fact that I kind of spearheaded this idea and was the one that brought it to all of my members because it was something I was very passionate about. And also the CFO position because I'm a finance major and that's kind of my field house around there.
I'm Morgan Morris. I'm the Chief Operating Officer. I'm currently pursuing a degree in management. This kind of helps me do the business admin of our company as well as following our processes. And then I'm also pursuing a minor in social entrepreneurship, and this helps me to really work and develop our social aspect of Essential Eats, which you'll hear about later on.
We have two members who aren't here because they had finals that conflicted this time. So we have Mohamed Diallo, who is our Chief Research and Strategy Officer. He's a junior engineering major. And we put him in this role because he's someone who's very good at looking at processes and understanding what we need to do to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And then we have Brent Taylor, who's a senior marketing major. We put him in this role because he's someone who's very creative. He has actually sold online before, so we thought he'd be perfect for that role to help us understand what we need to do to make sure that we reach all of our customers. So I would like to start off by telling you guys two little quick anecdotes. The first anecdote is actually about Brent Taylor, who kind of has helped mold our idea into what it is today. Brent is actually a user of Snap, which is something that our organization is targeting towards. And Brent is actually a user of Snap, and he helped us develop our idea into what it is today by just telling us the story that he had being a college student and not having been able to access food because he doesn't have a car, and with conflicting schedules and different organizations and things like that, he has a hard time finding the time to go to a grocery store and have easy access to just get there and come up and things like that. So that kind of helped mold our idea. And also from my own personal experiences, I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois, which if you guys don't know is somewhere that is very troubled and it does not have easy access to food. There's not really somewhere on, especially the side where I live at, that there are any good grocery stores. It's a lot of gas stations and liquor stores and things like that, but it's nothing that's substantial enough to kind of give people healthy food that they're able to have a sustainable living. And so this kind of made us want to develop something that can help those type of people so that they can have access to clean food and be able to eat healthy also.
Okay, so let's tell you a little story. Meet Rosie. Rosie is an American woman between the ages of 18 and 35. She doesn't have much, but she lives in a nice home with her family. She falls into the 19.3% of Americans who live in rural areas. Juggling her personal life and work life has been challenging, but with her time management skills, she's been able to do so up until recently. Recently, her workload has doubled, and her children have become more involved with school activities. This limits her extra time. This is seen as a theme throughout rural America. Many areas in rural America and some urban areas are considered to be food deserts. Food deserts mean that there's limited access to everyday food staples. Her access to food stamps isn't really helping her at this point in time because with where she lives, she is in a food desert, and the only thing within reach by her home is gas stations. This makes her 42% of Americans that are unsatisfied with their access to fresh foods. This leaves Rosie, much like other Americans, in a tough situation with little to no solutions. That's where our idea comes in. Our idea is a fresh food delivery service called Essential Eats. We have two customer segments that we are going to target. First, we are going to mainly target people living in rural areas. This will be anybody that is in a food desert. Even if there are some grocers, they might not be completely satisfied with their access to food. And then eventually we hope to make it SNAP enabled, which if you guys aren't familiar, that is also known as LINK, and that would be the form of food stamp aid. We are unique because we are providing convenient and fresh foods in rural areas, even if those aren't fresh foods aren't even within the area. Eventually eventually, when we do expand to SNAP, we are hoping to help SNAP users and bridge the gap between the government aid and the people receiving the aid. The government thinks that they fixed the problem by providing aid to these people in need of food. Unfortunately, a lot of these people do not have access to actually utilize this aid. So this is how it's going to work. For the customer, it's very simplistic. They call or place their order online, and we receive the order, and then they will receive the order at their door. So the time commitment is very small. They basically just go online, put in what they want to order, and then wait for it to get delivered to them. Our process is a little bit more complex. We will be receiving our food from a wholesaler and put it into storage. Once we receive an order from a customer, the order will go to our database. Employees will then check for storage, gather that order and process it, and then deliver it via vehicle. Right now, with our limited capital, we will only be collecting orders Monday through Friday online, and then Fridays we'll be collecting orders via phone, because we can't afford to have someone answering the phone all day, every day. And then orders will be delivered on Sundays. Eventually, we hope to make it more convenient and spread it out farther.
So take a look at our financials. Our financials use multiple assumptions that we put into it. We use Amazon, we use Peapod, and then we also looked at the market forces in general and how the industry is growing itself. So for our revenues, we estimate that we would make around $47,000, and that's because of the amount of SNAP that we estimate will be in the cow, which is 66,000, and we estimate that we do 1% of that, which would be 66 people. And we estimate that each of them would probably order at least 1.2 times a month, and would give us $50 each time that they order. So we got that, and then next we got our cost of goods sold, and a big part of that we thought was the delivery costs and also wages, because we estimated, we grossed it up from what Amazon used as their assumption base, which was 25%, we grossed ours up to 35%, and then for the wages, there was only 5%, we grossed ours up to 15%, because we know that they had a huge economy of scale, and we're able to lower the cost of that because of that. Next week, our gross profit, which after subtracting out our cost of goods sold, would be $19,000. And then our expenses, our huge expenses will be our vehicle, storage, and rent costs. Our vehicle costs, because we're gonna need some way to transport the food to each of our individual customers that order from us. Our rent cost would be just somewhere to store all of our food and make sure it's cool. And then we also got storage costs, because we're gonna need a huge unit to be able to put all the food within it. And then when we get down, we saw that we would have a negative balance of $5,000 for the first year. That's the first year projections. And this led us to see that we would probably require at least $68,000 of funds for the first year. And this is to cover the first cost of goods sold plus the expenses for the month, would be around 52. And then we also added $15,000 on top of that, because we guessed that the recurring cost of the vehicle storage and then IT costs would balance out. We were able to cover the $1,500 going forward.
So, looking forward a year in the future, how would Rosie's life and Brent's life differ with Essential Eats? So Rosie, being the mom that she is, being quite busy, she would be able to provide fresh food to her and her children, as well as manage her personal and professional life. Brent himself would be able to continue school and not have to worry about when he can get food and if he can get food. With that being said, thank you for listening, and do you have any questions for us?
Well, we always have 10 minutes of questions, but they only give us 5 minutes to ask them.
Oh, you better talk fast.
Exactly. You said that there are 66 people in DeKalb. Are you using that as a way to estimate SNAP users, or are
Well,
you
so we
DeKalb
estimated from, I think there's about 66,000 people in the county.
Right.
We estimated that 6,600 of them will be SNAP users, because 11% of the U.S. population is SNAP users.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Are you trying to market first in DeKalb?
Yes.
Yes.
Does DeKalb have a preponderance of food deserts?
Actually they do, they do. There's one actually right next to the campus.
Yeah, so our area, it's a rural area. Some people think that it's kind of like suburban, but it's a rural area. And we actually do have a lot of facilities where people live with aid. So I'm assuming that many of them have a lot of SNAP as well. And we did look into how many SNAP users are in DeKalb, and it's 6,600. And then right where we live there's only gas stations and liquor stores. Our nearest grocer is 2 miles away at the most. And then with time, like explaining Brent's story with time and bus schedules and not having a car, it's almost impossible to get there and to be able to grocery shop and then get back with all your responsibilities.
And NIU does provide the bus to the main 2 grocery stores. The only problem is, I went through this personally my sophomore year when I went to the grocery store trying to buy Gatorades and cereal and all this, and I get on the bus and I have to carry all my groceries on the bus, and then the bus doesn't drop you off right in front of your house, of course, so you have to walk and just it's a lot of, I mean, you get strong doing it, but
And also with the bus scheduling, that does take a lot of time. And with a busy schedule of a college student, it's almost impossible to find that time frame window in your schedule.
So I was curious, you mentioned storage and rent, and you kind of put them together, but they're separate.
Yeah, so for the storage was more of just like a refrigerator